Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the final of the Chinese Go Championship Challenger. So today whoever wins is going to go ahead and challenge the previous champion Ding Hao 9P. In this game, Tu Xiaoyu is playing as black and Fan Tingyu is playing as white, both 9-dan professional. Game starts like this. Black takes the Sansan, white blocks, and black crawls. White invites the flying knife, black attaches, and white decides to simply extend out. This type of move is what you see in the finals, right? When you're in a serious game, you can see the stress of the players, right? When black plays the attach, black's basically saying, I want a flying knife, but white is like, okay, never mind, let's not do that in a final game, right? You can already see on move 5 the psychology of the players. Black extends out. Here, if white goes for the Hane variation, black is not really afraid. Even if white has a tactic, black will simply capture the stone on the second line. White connects, black extends out, and we can see that the moyo that white could have is completely broken because of the second line stone. And now if white goes for this capping move, then black is not going to try to get these two stones out. Black can later on just pincer here, and white is very uncomfortable. So this is not a great position for white actually, even if locally there's a tactic. In the actual game, white plays whatever is big on the outside. Obviously, the enclosure is very big, and black also defends one of his corners. White takes the remaining corner, black blocks, white crawls. Another invitation for flying knife. White says no thanks. Black blocks on top, white Hane, black extends, and black crawls. Black has to extend once again, and at this point, white comes back and connect the two groups. This is always a very big move after you finish taking all the corners. Black plays the Keima makes a lot of sense, trying to build on the right side and suppress white's influence, a mutual reduction type of move. And at this point, white decides to challenge that move by attaching on top. Black decides to extend on the second line. It looks a little weird. I personally don't quite understand the idea behind this move, but we can see this is not a bad move because it has a lot of points. First of all, there's never the combination of Hane and Hane, so the corner is rock solid and leaves a very severe second line jump to destroy white's corner. Alternatively, black can also play the Hane. If black plays the Hane, the correct move for white to play is to Hane on top. Black likely is going to extend because any type of Atari only strengthens your opponent. So it's very important we just extend back, right? And probably white is going to extend towards the left side. So white is going to build a moyo and black is going to secure. This is pretty much solidified, right? If white doesn't come in, then this is going to be territory for black. So black will invade white's moyo, and it's still a game. In the actual game, black decides to play rock solid, extending on the second line, trying to look at the jump on the second line. White extends towards black's moyo. This is a very well played move, right? Any other move like this, it looks really good on the surface, but when white extends back, we can see it leaves a cutting point. That's very important for white to stay rock solid without any weakness. Black extends back, white blocks, that's a must-play move, and here black decides to directly invade. So this invasion has a lot of aggressive ideas as well. Obviously, black's looking at the Hane here to try to destroy white's shape here. White jumps up, trying to attack black, and black plays the Keima, hoping white would go for the push and cut. In the actual game, white did not fall into that trap because the push and cut is kind of what black was hoping for. If white goes for the push and cut, first of all, black can just jump here. This is a very flexible way to dodge the punch because now black is looking at the Hane. If white keeps pushing, then for illustration purposes, I can just show you that this doesn't really work. At this point, if white turns, then black is going to Hane, and it's white who's getting destroyed over here. So black's jump is a very nice way to deal with the problem. All right, in the actual game, Fan Tingyu plays correctly, a rock solid move, connecting the two groups and making sure black is dancing in the center by himself. Black pushes on top, that's a very important move, and white now pushes. Black blocks, white now cuts. Black plays the Hane, white plays the bamboo, and black Atari on top. The idea for black is to just sacrifice the two stones. White extends, and black plays the tiger's mouth. We can see that black is playing very like he's basically sacrificing the two stones, which is not easy to do, but actually it's a very good idea because now black has a little wall here and it's coordinating with black's outside. I really like black's way of playing here. White now comes back and play the Keima. And this is a typical Fan Tingyu move because he's a very territorial player, right? And this is the type of move he loves to play. Takes a bunch of territory and let white build a moyo, let black build a moyo, and later on he can invade easily. He has a very comfortable time invading moyos. All right, so here black plays the attach in the corner. This is a question move, right? Trying to see how white responds here. For example, if white plays the tiger's mouth, then black can clamp. When white extend, then black can extend up. White has to fix the cutting point, and black plays the 3-space extension. Thanks to these two moves, this move is really shining right now because black also has a moyo over here, coordinating with the moyo in the center, and it's a very tough moyo for white to invade. This is why in the actual game, even if Fan Tingyu is absolutely a territory lover, he still plays the Kosumi on the outside because he understands that right now if he takes the territory, it's going to be a headache later on to invade the moyo. So the Kosumi here is a very well played move. It shows you that Fan Tingyu has a great understanding of the game. So locally, what's going to happen in this corner is, for example, if black wants to live, then black can play the Kosumi. If white connects, black can play the Kosumi again. If white plays the attach, then black can play the tiger's mouth. And we can see that this is a ko locally. Now, if white just captured the stone on the second line, black can Atari and play the Keima. And it's not very easy to capture the black group. Black is likely going to live inside. And if white goes for the kill, then black can connect. White attaches. Locally, black is not alive, but black can make use of the second line clamp to cause all kinds of problems for white. Right? For example, if white extend, then there's a cut over here. Right? And it's not so easy. And also the fact that at some point, this is this is a sente, right? And then black can play the hana here and just make the corner alive. So with the second line clamp, white cannot really kill the corner. The point I'm trying to say is that, there's a lot of aji in the corner. If black wants to make the corner alive, then he can do so at any time at this point. But of course, this is not the time for black to make the corner alive because the outside is so big. So at this point, black absolutely has to play a move like this, which is very well played by black. Now, white comes in for the reduction. This is a very carefully chosen move. Alternatively, white also has a few choices. So white can go for the shoulder hit, right? If black pushes up, then we can just extend. If black tries to enclose, then we can follow up. The idea is to say, hey, black, you can have all this territory, but then if I come in like this, then this group is gonna get killed. So are you sure you want to just enclose territory and give up the group? The answer is likely no. So if black runs towards the center, then we can use this opportunity to destroy black's moyo. So the shoulder hit is a move that I really like. Also, a very standard textbook in reduction move is for white to play a move here. This is looking at the jump, right, over here. If black protects here, then we can jump. When you crawl, I can jump again. It's a very nice shape, and it serves its purpose of reducing black. Of course, if black defends like this, then we can look at just hopping down like this, right? Trying to destroy the right side. This is also a very good idea. In the actual game, white decides to play a reduction on top like this. Black jumps, and Fan Tingyu is really showing his style. At the end of the day, he really loves territory, and he can't hide it, right? Most players would be thinking about something like maybe in this direction or in the center, but Fan Tingyu absolutely just wants to play every single move to make sure every single move has some sort of territory. Black kicks, white extends, and here Tu Xiaoyu, instead of attacking the groups in the center, which he's not sure about, right? Like here he could have gone for it. For example, black plays this move, looking at the wedge. So when white plays the tiger's mouth, we can Kosumi, and then we can go with this elephant or big Keima to separate the two groups and attack each group. But, Tu Xiaoyu wasn't sure about this variation, right? Because he thought that Fan Tingyu is such a good invader that maybe his attack is not going to generate much profits. So in the actual game, he decides to play something more practical, which I really like. That is to threaten white's corner. White honey and black cuts. And we can see from this variation is that our understanding of this joseki, or at least my understanding of this joseki, has changed quite a bit. Is that, this locally, the thing is white took a very large corner in sente, right, in this joseki, but the follow-up is very annoying for white, right? And that's exactly what black gets in compensation, and that's why this is such fuseki. Look at what black plays. Hane and cut, and this is very annoying for white. White had to play the Atari and black flip Atari. Here white cannot extend because there's a very serious ko. So white absolutely has to capture black Atari, and we can see this is really, really annoying for white, right? Like if you connect here, then later on there's the possibility of black peeping in like this. Or even if black doesn't do that, black plays the tiger's mouth, you lost a bunch of points in the corner. Alright, so in the actual game, white decides to fight it out, obviously, take in the corner, and black pushes. White blocks, black takes back, and now white attaches. This is a co-threat. Black has to answer. But black cannot allow the corner to be pierced through. White takes back, and black pushes on top. White extends, black takes back, and white now blocks over here, looking at the Hane. So black had to defend that. White Hane on top, black connects, and white now takes back. And at this point, it's not so easy for black to find a appropriate co-threat, right? Maybe there's some co-threat here, but they're all very point-losing co-threat that black cannot play. So black decides to counterattack over here, and white gets rid of the ko. Right? A lot of my viewers might be thinking about getting rid of the ko like this, but this would be the bad way to get rid of your ko because it doesn't put a lot of pressure on black, right? Because this stone is still hanging here. But when you play the Atari, it's a very efficient way of getting rid of the ko. If black takes, then you take here, right? So this is the more efficient way of just killing the two stones. Now, the next move is really, really interesting. Tu Xiaoyu decides to Atari here, and this turns out to be a very obvious mistake. And the reason this is a mistake is actually super easy to understand, is because you just played a move to serve as a co-threat. So this is supposed to be a co-threat for you. So for human players, the natural idea is for you to follow up with your co-threat instead of responding to what white is doing. But you can see that, like Tu Xiaoyu is just going through so much psychologically, right? Like if this was a training game or this is a casual game, I think he would have spent like 2 seconds to figure out the next move. Either he's going to play the Keima here, the big Keima or the small Keima here to attack the entire white group. And this is exactly what he should have played. But when you're in a very important final, you're so nervous that you tend to overthink about your moves, right? So whatever seemed to be obviously correct, you might overthink and change your mind. And it turns out to be a very bad decision. And that's exactly what happened in the game. So definitely the psychological factor in these type of games play a big role. And yeah, this is the result of such, psychological fluctuation, I would say. Yeah, very, very hard to understand, but also kind of normal, right? Because human beings, when they get nervous, we just make decisions that we don't quite understand. All right, so that's a mistake. And at this point, Tingyu gets the opportunity to deal with this group, preventing black from the attack. So black played the Hane, and white Hane in the corner. Black blocks, and white plays the tiger's mouth. Very well played by white. You can tell Tingyu is a really good invader, really understands the shape, and you can see there's a lot of eye space all of a sudden for white. Black Atari and white obviously understands the principle of counterattack. He cuts on top, very well played. Black Atari, white flip Atari from the outside, very well played once again by white. Absolutely flawless execution. Black takes, white Atari, and black connects. We can see the efficiency of white stones, right? Every single stone serves a purpose, and this is what you like to see in a game of Go. White now comes back and connect, and black Atari on top. White extends, and the next move, black plays the connection. Yeah, this game, I feel like Tu Xiaoyu is overwhelmed by stress. This is also like quite an obvious mistake, even for an amateur high dan level player. Here, obviously, there's a problem, right? So if, for example, if black doesn't play and just plays somewhere else, then white obviously has this move, right? And that's going to cause a lot of problems. If black connects, then white's going to cut. And we can see that if black jumps into the corner, then we can push Atari, right? And this is pretty obvious for my viewers who are very strong players, right? We throw in first, Atari, and then Atari, right? So black is dead like this. Now if black turns into the corner, then we can Hane. Black has to Hane on the first line, right? And then we can Hane over here. And we can see that black has the answer, and then we can connect. right? So locally, this is going to be white kills black. If black plays the Hane, then we can make an I, right? This is I kills no I for sure. So black likely has to play something like this, but then we can just throw in, right? So when you take, I can squeeze here, and the next move I'm going to Atari, and that's the end of the game. So that's obviously a problem, right? If black connects, then we can Atari, right? If you connect here, I don't care about the 2 stones, I just capture your corner. So obviously black needs to spend a move here, but as my viewers can already tell, right, the correct move is for black to play the triangle, testing white first. Before you go back and fix your problem, you should cause maximum discomfort for your opponent, right? When I play here, white needs to answer, right? Otherwise, I'm going to capture the 2 stones. So if white plays the triangle, which is the shape move, then black fixed the problem, right? Black doesn't need to play moves in the corner. Black gains a sente, which is so important at this point. So white cannot allow that. White needs to block, make sure black has to fix with 1 move. But then obviously we can Atari first and then connect. Now we can see white's shape is terrible, right? Later on, black can jump over here. Black can jump over here and look at, the weaknesses that white has. So obviously this would be very nice exchange for black, right? And also the fact, black can cut and then Hane and connect through, right? There's a lot of benefits to getting this Atari. And the actual game, Tu Xiaoyu just connects, right? Which I think is, the fact that the stress is overwhelming him in this game is definitely like a huge factor. All right, white now extend out and black blocks on top. And at this point, white decides to jump towards the center, right? This is a very nice move, right? It supports white's group over here, and it's also putting a lot of pressure on black, right? This group has a cutting point, but more importantly, this move is just trying to enclose black in some way, right? So black has to worry about the life and death of this group. All right, so now black jumps towards the center, white attaches, and black pushes through, breaking white into pieces. And at this point, white decides to peep at the vital point. Now here, Tingyu actually has a chance to completely destroy black, but of course it requires a lot of calculation, is that white can actually extend the stone out and break black into pieces.
Hope you're enjoying the content so far. If you want to support my work and unlock exclusive member videos, including Joseki lessons, advanced tricks, and even full multi-hour courses, check out the YouTube membership or Patreon. Links are in the description. Thanks so much. Let's continue.
Here it looks like white is in a very dangerous spot, but actually, if black tries to go for the kill, then white is extremely resilient here. White can first of all play the triangle. Black cannot turn. If black turns, then white plays the Kosumi, and this is going to be white kills black. So black's only move is to Hane on the second line, making sure white only has 2 liberties. Of course, this is very scary for white. White has to run, and black blocks on top. White keeps running, black connects, and white now turns. And this is a complete, a life and death type of, liberty fight. So black makes sure that white only has 2 liberties. White keeps running, and black pushes. White keeps running. The reason black cannot play any netting move is because, black cannot allow white to have 3 liberties, because then white can come back and play the Hane and then kill black. So black keeps pushing, white keeps running, and black pushes again. White Atari and black now connect on the second line. White keeps running, black play the Hane, white keeps running, and black takes in the corner. At this point, white comes back and try to kill black. Black now blocks on the second line. Here, white can even extend on the first line, right? So at this point, we can see that even if white only has 3 liberties, this is very difficult for black. First of all, black cannot cut here. If you cut here, then I can Atari, right? And it doesn't work. So this pretty much means the white captured the entire corner. However, not so fast, right? This is the fascinating part about the game of Go. It looks like black is collapsing, but black has a Tsuji to resist, right? And this is the fun part. White cannot extend. If white extends, then black can cut here. And the next move, black is going to Atari. Because you can't fill in here, this is actually going to be black kills white. So here, the correct move is for white to squeeze here. Black has to Atari. White only has 2 liberties, right? And then black connects. White now plays the throw in. Black captures, white Atari, black connects, and white Atari again. Black connects, and white now takes, right? This becomes a ko. But of course, this is game over because now black can place, 2 stones somewhere else on the board because white is going to capture for sure the next move, and that's the end of the game. Black doesn't have such a co-threat. Right, so this variation doesn't work for black. There's some other branch variations, such as black connecting here. This is also very interesting. White's going to keep running. Black honey, white keeps running, and black blocks. White keeps pushing. And at this point, when black connects, white can turn towards the outside to fight. Black honey, white cuts, and black is broken into pieces. If black just extends, then white can cut and then cut. Because white has 3 liberties, this is over for black, right? If you just play something like this, then I can come back, and this is 3 versus 2. Therefore, it's white kills black. Here, if black resists with the Atari, then white can extend. Black keeps crawling, then we can honey. Black has no choice but to capture that stone, but then we can Atari in the center. Black runs, and then we cut in the center. Black has to use this type of move to get out, right? If white runs, then black can Atari, and then come back. Of course, we won't let that happen. We can just flip Atari. If black captures, then we Atari, and that's game over. Black cannot connect. So black has to Atari, but then our Atari is a Sente, right? Because next move, I'm still looking at the Atari and then squeeze Atari and kill the black group. So black needs to spend a move here, but then at this point, right, the correct move for us to play is just to extend on the first line, right? So a lot of times my viewers might get very happy, right? When they reach a position like this, they're like, yeah, I'm winning the game. This is collapsing for black. But if you're not careful, you play something like this, okay, well, black plays the Atari and try to resist. And you're just like so confused and so angry because you're like, what? Wait a second, how can this even work for you, right? And then you just connect, and then black plays this. And then you Atari, black says, you know what, it's not over. I'm going to keep playing here, right? And then this is just getting very annoying for you. So it's very important when you're winning the game to not be too happy and play very precise, right? The precise move is for white to extend on the first line. And now we can see this is officially game over. White has 3 liberties. Black cannot save the 2 stones. All right, super fun reading. A lot of variations in here. But the point is, white can actually rebel here with the 2 stones. But of course, maybe Tingyu did not read all the variations, and maybe he was afraid that he might misread somewhere and just lose the game, so he didn't go for it. He plays the peep, black clamps, white honey, and black now extends, fixing all the Aji in here. White now plays the Keima, trying to capture black in the most efficient way. Black now counterattacks. White cuts, and black pushes. White extends, black keeps pushing from behind, and white now extends once again. And the next move, black decides to push through and completely capturing white's group. I would say this move is definitely the losing move for black. And I have to say, throughout this game, I didn't see the actual game live. I didn't see the player's facial expression, but I can just tell from this move, Tu Xiaoyu is really stressed out. He's really having some issues, psychologically speaking. This doesn't reflect his level, right? This is he's a 9-dan professional, very talented young man, and this move, like, he probably just knows instantly that this was a bad move the moment he placed the stone on the board. The reason black's pushing here is a losing move is because black doesn't have to push here. This group's already captured. Black should definitely run towards the center because this group is in trouble, right? If white plays another move, then this thing is going to die. So black definitely needs to save this group. Here, if white keeps running, that doesn't work. White cannot play like this because black can play the Keima, and it's extremely difficult for white to survive. If you keep playing like this, then black plays the extension. How are you going to live right in front of my wall here, right? It's impossible. And there's really nothing here. If you jump, then I can push, right? Nothing going on here. So the point is, if black just hops out, white is already dead. And white has to figure out how to get a compensation back because this whole thing is dead, right? But in the actual game, black plays an extra move to fix something that didn't exist. And now white gets the opportunity. So first of all, white plays a few Sente here. Maybe it's time Suji. White Hane, black cuts, white connects. Of course, that's a Sente, looking at the Atari and connect. So black captures the 3 stones, making sure white cannot connect underneath. And at this point, obviously, Fantingi comes back, hop in the center, and this is looking very difficult for black. How is black going to make this group survive? Very difficult. All right, Tu Xiaoyu at this point is trying his best. He peeps in the center, going for counterattack. White blocks, black attaches, white hane. Black hane, white cuts, and black connects, trying to cause maximum problem for white. White extends out, and black now plays the Keima, trying to make as much eye space as he can. White blocks on top, black hane, white hane. And here black comes back and fixes this very serious Atari. Otherwise, white's going to Atari. This is a double Atari, which means black doesn't have any eye space. All right, so black blocks over here, and white now plays the hane. Black jumps out. Here, white cannot just block because black can make an extra eye. So white goes for the kill, and he absolutely has to kill this group. Black pushes out, white wedges, and here black goes for the Aji in the corner. White now cuts, and black plays the double hane, causing maximum pressure on white's formation, right? We can see that these moves are very tricky to deal with. If I was playing as white, this would definitely give me a headache. But of course, he's not playing against me, unfortunately, right? He's playing against Fan Tingyu, a 9-dan professional, so it's very difficult. Here, white Atari on top, and black pushes through. And white plays very correctly here. It's very important for white to not play moves like this. This move will ensure that black's center is dead. But then black gets the compensation back through the corner, because black can connect here. White has to claim the 2 stones, and black can now Atari. White extends, and black captures. We can see black makes a huge corner, right, over here. And actually, because of the previously captured group here and the corner, this is actually a very close game. This is going to be probably a 1.5 or 0.5 point game. And there's a lot of endgames left, so I'm not sure who's going to win this game. So Fan Tingyu cannot allow this, right? He has a winning position at this point, and he still has to play very cautious. He cuts in the corner, and now black decides to fight in the center. Because if black is just happy with this type of corner, this corner is really small because white can now block, and then white can just start taking endgames on the outside, and the corner is too small to fight for the win. So black decides to not live the corner at all. He cuts in the center, white connects, black cuts in the center again, white extends out. And at this point, black plays the Atari, trying to capture the 3 stones here. Fan Tingyu says, fine, you can capture the 3 stones in the center, but I'm going to make sure that everything dies here. The next move, white plays the Atari, and the corner is completely dead. If black tries to live the corner, then that's not the correct move, right? At this point, white can simply connect here. If black extends, then white can just block. This is a very basic life and death. So if black plays the tiger's mouth, we can throw in and then extend. You can see because of our stone here, black cannot make an extra eye. So black is clean dead in here. That's very easy, life and death. So here black comes back and connect. Otherwise, white can run, right? And black cannot connect. So black has to spend another move, and white now comes back and capture the 2 stones. Both players go in for the end game, where this is definitely a leading game for white because white captured way too much territory. Black hops in. This is the biggest end game, and white pushes. Black blocks. White jumps, and black comes back and take the stone. Very big end game. White takes an equally big end game by playing the second line slide. Black comes back and protect the territory on top. We can see these end games are super big. White turns, and black takes. That's a sente. White has to connect to make sure the corner is alive. Black pushes, white blocks, black turns, white bumps into black, black cuts, and white connects. And here black's trying to cause some trouble for white here, but it's all very easy for Fan Tingyu because he can just connect. Black blocks, white just capture the 3 stones. A lot of points and fixes all the problems. And at this point, black plays the hane. The reason white cannot hane is because the Atari is a sente. So white just says, okay, you can have the side, no problem. I'm just going to try to reduce you. Black blocks, white extends. And at this point, black says, you know what? Even if I can keep the side territory, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to lose anyway. So let's go for chaos. White captures the 3 stones. Black connects in the center. And white now breaks the territory on top. Black comes back and connect. This forms a bamboo, and he managed to save the 2 stones. But of course, after white connect, you can no longer cut here. There's a Atari. So black has to extend and white connects at the on the fourth line, and we can see that black doesn't have any territory left. So even if black managed to gain a lot of profits, he lost a lot in compensation. Black now plays the Kosumi, and white obviously has to drag the stone back. And it's at this point that Tu Xiaoyu decided to resign because he simply doesn't have enough territory to compete against white. It's probably a even game on the board, and or maybe even slightly better on the board for white right now. And black definitely doesn't have enough points to pay the Komi. And therefore, for professionals like them, you can see all the end games are pretty much taken. Therefore, Tu Xiaoyu decided to resign because there's simply no chance. So overall, this has been a very high quality game. We can see that black managed to slaughter the right side, and then white managed to slaughter black's left side, and eventually, white just killed more than black, and that was the end of the game. Fan Tingyu has played absolutely amazing in this game, super high quality play. But when we look at Tu Xiaoyu, obviously he's a very strong player, but of course, I've said many times, the stress and the psychological factors is playing a huge role in this game, and we can definitely see that from the board. We see the Atari over here, which is very hard to explain, and then the mistake of connecting here in the corner instead of playing a triangle. And at some point, he plays an extra move to fix a problem that doesn't exist, right? So all these moves combined really led to this huge loss on the left side, right? So Fan Tingyu is basically won this game, and he's going to challenge Ding Hao in the in the final, right? So when that game comes out, I'll make sure to commentate in my channel as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It's the only way that you don't miss a future commentary like this. So I hope to see you all in the next one.